to keep it in under nice hour discussion or maybe 30 minutes, somewhere around there. Bro, I was at work yesterday and I had the opportunity to watch both of the games that were on. First one was Knicks and the Pistons. And I was telling everybody, I said Detroit's going to have to split this series to make it interesting. And boy, was I not wrong. This game was a seesaw, went back and forth. Um, and that's what you expect to see out of two teams like this. And Jalen Brunson finished with what, 37 points. You believe that shit? But unfortunately, no other players stepped up for the Knicks. I think Karl Anthony Towns only had 10 points. Ouch. For your center, one of your supposed to be one of the most dominant centers in the league, only gets 10 points. It's not good. It's good for the goose, not good for the gander. But the Detroit Pistons and Cade Cunningham and spitting 33 points out, not to mention Dennis Schroeder's 20 points off the bench, including hitting some marquee threes towards the very end and sealing the deal for the Pistons as they get the game 2 win. Detroit should have won both games. They should have really won game 1. They didn't blow that 12-point lead. They should be up 2-0. They should have won both games in New York. But now the series is going back to Detroit for game 3. Series tied at 1. And that game was very exciting to watch. Cade Cunningham is very exciting to watch. He's a very fun player to watch. And I said when we were entering the draft, said I wanted Cade Cunningham. Unfortunately, we didn't land with the number 1 pick. It was Detroit Pistons. They landed Cade Cunningham. Respectfully so, they got a very good basketball player. And the Pistons showed out for that game. They got the win. I think it was like 100 to like 92 over the Knicks. What a game, bro. And then the second game I was watching was the Nuggets and the Clippers. And I said, I don't think Denver's going to go 2-0. I think Clippers are going to get a win here because they really should have won game 1. And at Kawhi Leonard, I'll tell you this right now, when he is healthy, he is fun to watch. Like, he has a weird form, how he shoots. It, like, feels like he's kind of like, it takes him forever to, like, wind up to take the shot. But, bro, does he be hitting these shots? If you get Kawhi Leonard the ball and he's wide open, he takes those floaters and those fadeaway jumpers. Man, this dude is icing on the cake. Kawhi Leonard's like one of those, sneaky type of guys that is just under the radar. He's not very outspoken. He's not a guy that's going to really trash talk in your face. He kind of lets his game speak for himself. Most NBA players like to trash talk, like to get under your skin and stuff like that. And, Kawhi Leonard's the exact opposite. He just, more the quiet, loner, introvert type that doesn't really say much. And but at the end of the day, the guy can hoop. And he had 39 points in Denver and made some marquee shots at the end when the pressure was mounting. Take that game. And James Harden, surprisingly, only had 18 points. He wasn't really too effective in that game. But again, when you got Leonard that can show out 40 points, or 39, basically 40 points, they got a statement, a signature win in Denver. And this was a win that I think the Clippers needed to tie the series and send this back to LA. And, I had Denver winning in 7. I'll be honest with you, man. The Clippers can make this interesting if they can secure home court advantage, lock up game 3 and 4, and make it a 3-1 series. Who knows? Maybe they could close it out in 6. But if you guys did not watch the NBA games last night, game 2, Knicks and the Pistons and the Clippers, Nuggets, I suggest you go watch those games because it was a seesaw back and forth. It made the NBA playoffs a little bit more exciting because most of the games have been pretty much lopsided for the most part. I would say that Denver and the Clippers is probably the most exciting series to watch if you were to ask me out of all 8 matchups. And then I would say probably second would be Detroit, New York, instantly. And then, maybe I'm being a little biased, but I think Rockets and Warriors would probably be third. And then after that, everything else is just kind of, what's the word I want to use? Uh, Lopsided. It's been lopsided ever since. So I would like to see Damian Lillard back. At least maybe the Bucks can make it somewhat interesting in this series. They don't get swept. Well, if Lillard plays, I think Bucks can still take that series, Marvin. But if it's if Lillard don't play, they don't have a chance, bro. The Bucks will be done in 4 if Lillard does not play. Outside of Giannis Antetokounmpo, you don't have anybody else. They have no choice but to have Lillard come back to help spread that court out a little bit more and to take the pressure off of Giannis having to be the only playmaker of the team, make plays and get points and stuff like that. So you got a guy like Damian Lillard can bring the ball up, and he's really like a 2 guard playing a 1 guard. This NBA season has been all right. The playoffs has been fire, bro. Like I said, game 2 for the Rockets Warriors series is Wednesday. And like I said, I've had some time to sort of rethink a lot of what I said the other night about, the series is over and blah, 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 blah. It's like, I think the Rockets, if they can come out with some firepower in game 2, we're going to need big numbers from our point guards. We're going to need points from Jalen Green. We're going to need Amin Thompson to step up. We're going to need Fred VanVleet not to be 4 for 19. I know. That still pains me thinking about it, right? We need points off the bench. We're going to get offensive rebounds. We're going to have to put up some points. 22 offensive rebounds, Marvin said. There's no excuse why we only came out with 4 points. Absolutely. Oh, absolutely on the offense side of the ball. That's terrible. I mean, we finished the game with 85 points to say enough. So, yeah, we're going to need other players to step up. There's definitely going to be a statement game for the Rockets on Wednesday. I've been saying that. I think it's a must-win. I don't think you can go down 0-2 going to Golden State and then having to, trying to figure out a way to get 2 wins in Golden State. The pressure would be too much for the Rockets. I think if anything, you get the split, then you can try to win 1 road game, try to even it back out, and let's make this a 2-2 series and try to extend it. Try to extend the series. But you can't go down 0-2, and then, we're going to go into Golden State down 0-2. So this right here, Wednesday, is kind of like an all-in. If I'm the Rockets coach, I'm telling them, you play defense, you shut these players down, you play some extra D on Curry, get a little bit physical if you have to. Let's get some points off of those offensive rebounds, okay? And if we're going to set the pick and roll and drive the ball in, you might as well heave it up and see if it goes in. There's nothing to lose, right? So 22 offensive rebounds, we're going to have to score points. It just amazes me how we only came with 4 points on 22 offensive rebounds. So that's unacceptable. We have to be able to make plays. I would say if the Rockets got to take away from the 3-point line and we got to start getting to the basket more, I would be willing to be okay with that. Because we have peripheral jump shooters that can have the ability to get inside the lane. Jalen Green's one of them. And can dribble the ball in the paint, be able to get those maybe 12-foot jump shots. Let's go ahead and get Amin Thompson driving the ball in more. Let's go ahead and abandon the 3-pointer, and let's go ahead and start getting some easy field goals to try to get this score up a little more. And like I said, I think defensively, if we could start off red hot like we did in game 1, you're up 7-0. The defense is locking up. The Warriors are shooting 2 for 13. We need more consistency on that end. We can shut them down defensively and keep the ball rolling and putting in points to replicate that, then the Rockets should very well tie this series. Like I said, it's the last thing you need is to lose both home games. This is a very this game, there's going to be a lot of pressure. And to be fair, Golden State's not going to give it to us easily. They're going to make us earn it. They're not just going to give us a win. They're not just going to lay low for us and say, okay, we took one, we'll let you guys take the other, and then we'll go back to Golden State with a split. No, their mindset is to go up 2-0. So with that being said, if their mindset is to go up 2-0, then the Rockets have to know that we're not. The Golden State's not just going to give us a win. We got to earn it. Got to earn it. And just like we beat them in the regular season, we beat them twice, and we've already won in Golden State before. We won in Golden State not even a month ago. So if we can do that, and just say, listen, if you could apply the same energy you had to win those key moment games against the Warriors in the regular season, we can translate that into the playoffs. You know what I mean? I don't believe that we're gonna lose in 4. I know, the inexperience is probably going to, sway some eyes in this and say, well, maybe the inexperience in the playoffs with these rookies are kind of showing. So people say, oh, well, here it is, you got all these rookie guys in, and they're not going to be able to perform. But when we brought in Steven Adams, the Rockets were able to battle back. Maybe we do need, somebody like Steven Adams, maybe inclement him with some more minutes, and maybe sort of help the flow of the pace of the game. Maybe right off the bat we could start Steven Adams or bring him in a lot sooner and see exactly how the Rockets respond offensively and, defensively as well, because Steven Adams can play defense. He's a good rim protector, a good shot blocker, and he has great morale and great presence. And he's got veteran leadership, so you bring a guy like that in to sort of help these young guys, give them confidence. In game 1, we brought him in. We went on a run. We were down by 23. We managed to get the lead, I think, down to 5. And, again, Curry hit some big threes down the stretch. We're going to have to figure out a way to take the ball out of Curry's hands. I would almost feel more comfortable having Jimmy Butler with the ball down the stretch and having to put the pressure on him to force those shots up versus Curry, who has a nice form and can get open and set the pick and roll and say, okay, I could take this 3 or whatnot. And, because Curry's got a good form, outside of Kawhi Leonard. I think those are probably the best 2 players in the league in terms of how they're the form of their shots. So what we need to do is we need to figure out a way to get the ball out of Curry's hand. That's easier said than done. But we're going to have to figure out some kind of way, especially in the fourth quarter, where he's notorious for hitting big shots, being in pressure situations where he can hit those tough, difficult, contested shots. That's the one thing Curry does. You can put 2 guys in his face, and it's like he heaves it up, and he makes it look so easy. We need to figure out a way to make it look difficult. I don't know what it's going to take. I think perhaps maybe getting a little physical with these guys. You saw Dre do it. Dre did it to our guy. So why not return the favor and get a little bit physical with this team? Maybe that's what it's going to have to take to light a fire under our team for game 2, because it is pivotal. Cannot go down 0-2. We just can't. And that game is for Wednesday, so I will be streaming the game, by the way. Who do you got winning out of tonight's games? Well, I don't know. I think Memphis is playing tonight, aren't they? Memphis and Thunder. I think they're the first game tonight. I don't know. I know there's 3 games on tonight. I don't know the other 2. I just know I believe that is the first one, if I'm correct. I don't think Memphis got a chance. I think they're done. I think Morant's going to want out. He's going to request a trade in the summer. And respectfully so, I think he should. I don't think he has anybody else really on that team that can help him win big games or whatever. Not at this time. So unless they acquire like a big free agent, I think he's probably going to want out Memphis. Probably most likely what you're going to see. Trae Young out of Atlanta. That's already going to be a gimme. There's no doubt. I think that Trae is going to request a trade. KD's going to request a trade. Bill probably might take the no trade clause out of his deal, and thus the Suns would have to trade him. I could see the Suns getting rid of Booker as well, and seeing what they can get and completely just blowing the whole thing up. I don't think that you rebuild around Booker twice. I think the project's done. I think that they've already experimented several things that they can do to make the Suns a title contender. They had that one run where they lost to the Bucks. I mean, many people said they should have won that series, and maybe respectfully they should have. Maybe that was their really only chance at a ring. I think now it's kind of like, there's not really much you can do at this point. I think it would be better to trade your players, get some sort of draft picks out of this, and rebuild for the future. I appreciate the second like, whoever liked it, by the way. Um, I got comments coming in on Facebook, but not in on my YouTube. Maybe YouTube doesn't love me today. You know what I'm saying? Maybe that's what it is. Hold on. Hold on. Damn chat. Oh, what's going on? Yeah, I can't see any comments on YouTube, but I can see them on Facebook though. There's maybe so many comments on YouTube I can see it. But yeah, I absolutely the Clippers look good today. Imagine if the Clippers do come out of this series, James Harden and Kawhi Leonard. Wow, I didn't see that coming. You know who else stepped up? Powell stepped up for the Clippers and made some big shots towards the end of the game. And of course, it was all the Kawhi Leonard show, but Powell hit some big time 3-point shots. And I'm telling you, this Clippers team is they're just like the Pistons, like an underdog team that you don't see out of nowhere, but they're like balling. And this NBA season, playoffs, mind you, is exciting to watch. Do y'all think Miami has a chance to come back and possibly win the series? Probably not. This ain't the same Miami Heat team in 2023 where they had Jimmy G. I think it's a little bit different now. I think the Cleveland Cavaliers are over their injuries. I think they beat the Heat in 5. I give them a gentleman's sweep. I think that the Heat somehow managed to win one game on the home court, but I think the Cavs finish them in 5. Yeah, I got Cavaliers to win. Orlando and Boston. Believe it or not, I don't got Orlando winning the game. I think Boston wins. I think they close it out in 4. That's what I think. I think about the Celtics. They're just completely. They're just Magic are just outgunned, outmatched, outnumbered. They don't have a chance. Not a snowball's chance in hell. Like I said, the Rockets Warriors. I got that going 7. But like I said, we have to win this game. And game 2 is a must. We cannot go to Golden State down 0-2. We just can't. We have to figure out a way to rally up these guys to get a win. Players are just going to have to step up. It just is what it is. Especially from our rookies. Especially from these inexperienced young guys we got. They have to step up. They have to make plays. This is what it is. Anyways. That game is at 8:30. You could bet your ass I'll be at Bogey's watching it. I bet your ass that's where I'm going to be. The Rockets win. What do you think the chances of us going to Golden State and stealing a win? Oh, absolutely. It ups the ante now. If the Rockets can get a win, they win game 2. The series is tied. We're right back in the mix. I mean, yeah, sure, Golden State's got home court advantage, but Rockets are a really good road team. And like this year, we've won some pretty big road games. And I think we can go in Golden State and get a win. So like even if we can't win both, we can win one. And then with the 1-1 series we already got, now you're tied at 2. The home court advantage is back in our turf. And then they would have to come back to our home for game 5. Now that would have to put the pressure on us to have to win a game 5. And then game 6, maybe Golden State takes that, and then 7 be back in our house. And like I said, this every game that is played is just going to be another chapter in the storyline of the rivalry between Golden State and Houston for the last 5 times, or now this is our 5th playoff matchup. And we have yet to win a series over them, and it's still, in my mind, has a bad taste. Being 0-4, could we perhaps win with this new squad and somehow manage to win a best of 7? Or do we lay flat and Golden State beats us yet again and just adds another, matchup series victory against us at 5-0? It just doesn't sit well with me, I want to win this. I want to win this series. I want to beat the Warriors. You know what I'm saying? But in order to do that, again, we have to figure out a way to take the ball out of Curry's hands. I don't know how the hell we plan on doing that. Of course, he's going to get his points. I'm not going to say that we're going to shut him out, but we have to somehow put some pressure on this guy to miss shots. I don't know what that's going to take. We've doubled him. It didn't seem to work. Tripling him may not work because it's going to leave so many guys open on the court. So we have to figure out, we just have to figure out a way to take the ball out of Curry's hands. Maybe he doesn't get those shots because he's just not open enough to get that shot. So he has to force the ball out of his hand. I'd feel more comfortable if they gave the ball to Dre and they were forcing Dre to take those 18-footers. And I would rather be okay with that, even if he was making them, just so that way we could just take the ball out of Curry's hands and force it on someone else. Like I said, I would feel more comfortable with Jimmy Butler having the ball. And knowing that if the pressure mounts on him, I would be okay with rolling the dice with the game on the line and Jimmy G's got to take a shot versus if Curry's taking that shot. Because you know damn well, if Curry's even slightly open and there's even if there's two defenders, but they're like 3 feet off of him, he makes those terrible shots look so goddamn good. Like he heaves it up, like almost as like he's shooting blindfolded, just, throwing the ball up, and it just goes in. It just seems to never go outside of the goddamn net. It keeps going inside of the net. I don't know how Curry trains. I don't know if he's been doing this since he was born. But this guy is hitting these impossible shots that 95% of the league, I don't even think would attempt, rather make those shots. Curry's just making those shots, and we have to force the ball out of his hands. So like I said, however we do that, it's not going to be easy. I thought in game one, when you put Amin Thompson on him, I thought we were going to shut him down. Boy, was I wrong. I thought, okay, Amin Thompson's going to play. He's going to shut Curry down and, let all be told, hey, Curry's going to be forced to having to take up shots and he's going to be mismatched here. It didn't seem to affect him at all. He still finished the game with 31. We have to figure out something, guys. There has to be, I think with the Rockets, there has to be a sense of urgency. I think if you're in the locker room at this point and the coaches were laying it over to him, I have to say, guys, it's a must-win. It's a sense of urgency. We've got to win. Got to win Wednesday. So it'd be different if, let's say, we were on the road and we had to go to Golden State for 2 games, right? So we go to Golden State for what? 2 games, and then, we come back to Houston too. So it would be like, okay, well, it would be nice to steal a game on the road. But worst case scenario, hey, you're down 0-2, you come home, you got 2 home games, and we can tie the series up. We don't have that opportunity. We already dropped 1 game at home, and now you got to win the 2nd game at home. So this is going to be a must-win. I'll leave it at that. Appreciate it for the non-viewers watching. Like I said, right now, other than Seth Curry, I think that Kawhi Leonard and Cade Cunningham are 2 fun players to watch. Dennis Schroeder, like I said, came off the bench with 20. And then who had some points off the bench for the Clippers? I can't remember his name. Who had 20 points off the bench for the Clippers? God, I can't think of his name. It's just not ringing a bell at the moment. But like I said, it's nice to hear that you can have some bench players step up and score, right? Because that's what it's all about. If your starters are sitting out and you need your second unit to come in and make some plays, you want to be able to know you got guys that can score. Lakers and Wolves, game 2. I think LA ties that. No way LeBron drops 2 at home to Ant-Man. I like Ant-Man, but no way he drops 2 at home. No way. I think the Lakers got game 2. They're going to win that game, force it to a game 5. Let's hope it's not a Lakers-Celtics finals. I hope not. But for the ratings, I think the NBA would love it. I hope it's not rigged. I hope not either. Hello to Ro Ross, whoever you are. Say hi. All right, so no one's really commenting on my YouTube channel, but on Facebook, I seem to be getting a little friendly comments. I don't know. I think people are shy today on YouTube. Is that what it is? People are shy. They don't want to talk. They said, I just want to listen to Steve Rose talk. I really got nothing else to say. All right, well, hey, I try to engage. You can only get so much. I mean, if people don't want to talk, they don't want to talk. But I got people talking on Facebook, so that's good. A little conversation going about basketball. They say NBA ratings are low, and they're getting rid of TNT on ESPN. Yeah, it's because they got all these different apps that stream the games. And then if if you have the app and the damn game blacks out, you can't even watch it. Well, what's the fucking point of having NBA League Pass? And let's say Rockets got a blacked out game, and then you can't even watch the fucking game, but you got the NBA League Pass. It's like, what? I got NBA League Pass, but you're saying I can't watch the fucking game because it's blacked out? Really? A blackout game? I don't know if that's just the NBA saving money or just, sticking it to the fans just one more time. I don't know. I haven't figured it out yet. But if y'all find out, let me know. Memphis getting swept. They're done. Miami will lose in 5, gentlemen sweep. Orlando is getting swept. If Damian Lillard doesn't come back, I think the Pacers beat them in 5, gentlemen sweep. I think Detroit takes the Knicks in 7. I think that's one upset you're going to see right there. I picked the Nuggets over the Clippers, but hey, Clippers could still come out and shine and ball. I appreciate the 7 viewers, by the way. It seems that like I'm entertaining some of you in silence. You're probably listening to me while you're probably going to work or something. I don't know. I haven't figured it out yet. But I appreciate you guys for coming on. I'm just saying, if you haven't seen the other 2 games, I suggest you watch them. They were fun. Exciting. Magic are not getting the broom. Really? So you think Magic are going to beat the Celtics in a 7-game series? Or you think they'll win 1 game? Because I'll tell you, they are outmatched. They are outgunned in that series. They do not match up well with the Celtics. Not at all. I mean, I know the Magic beat the Hawks, secured the 7th spot, but, just because they beat the Hawks doesn't mean they're good. It just means that they're better than the Hawks. But Orlando had a horrible season this year. Let's compare to last year. Outside of Banchero, outside of Von Wagner, or whatever his name is, they don't really have much of an offense. Like, outside of those 2 guys, the Magic look terrible. I'm just saying, they don't look as bad as Memphis, but they're pretty bad. They look terrible. And they look like they're not matched up well against the Celtics. Respectfully so, the Celtics are the defending champions. You said you're crazy, Magic are not getting the broom. I mean, at most, I think maybe 1 win. I don't think they make this a series at all. And especially they're not able to win on the road. Celtics can go up 2-0. I know they go in Orlando, at least steal a game there. That's easily 3-1 right there, and then they would have to go back to Boston for the closeout. It's just, I don't think the Magic are going to get any road wins against the Celtics. No offense, Go Gator 904. Just saying, just want to throw that out there. But anyways, yeah, I work night shift, so yeah, I got to get some sleep. So I said I was going to keep this video like under an hour. It's been, I think 30 minutes is like a nice little discussion about basketball. And don't let France get going. Like I said outside of France and outside of Paulo, they don't really have anybody. That's all I'm saying about the Orlando Magic. That's all I'm going to say. I'm not saying anything bad about it. But, I just have to keep it 100. All right. Well, it's 30-minute mark. I'm going to get out of here, and I'll probably get see you guys tomorrow. Like I said, Rockets, Warriors, I'm live streaming that game. That's Wednesday. So be there or be square. I'm out.